Today I'm going to show you how I flat iron my hair. I've divided it into 3 sections, so my biggest section is up here. I've got a mid section and then a third section, and we're going to start with the bottom. My hair has a coage uplifting foam at the roots, and then I blew it dry by flipping upside down, and that is all that I have on my hair. So when I flat iron, I put the flat iron in as close to my scalp as possible, and then do a C shape with your hand. So you want to do that motion instead of just pulling it stick straight. And then I normally run a comb over it after I do each section. So we're going to let down this second section. If your hair tends to go limp or doesn't flat iron without the help of a little bit of product on there, it's completely fine to spray each section with either a little bit of setting spray or hairspray to help give it a little bit of hold, or you can use some kind of smoothing serum if you have frizzy hair or any kind of curl. So I'm just going to go through and take it section by section. I would say the biggest mistake that people make when flat ironing their hair is not taking small enough sections and just trying to kind of whip through it and be done as fast as they can. So in order to get a really smooth finish, you're better off taking the time to do smaller sections. And also comb through each section before you flat iron it. That'll give you a much smoother finish, and you won't kind of lock in any knots in there. So the ears, or the sections right next to my face, I always turn in toward my face, just so it tends to be a little bit more flattering. So you'll notice I'm kind of bending the flat iron toward my chin and slowly pulling it through there. So I have a little bend toward here, which is kind of the same thing I do with the bouncy curl under too. This section kind of looks terrible, so we'll go through it again. But smooth and steady will make the biggest difference. Okay, so we'll drop this section down. And then as you're getting to the top of your scalp, the closer you put the flat iron to the root, the more lift you're going to get. And notice I'm pulling it straight out from my head, and it's still bending under, but you're getting a little bit of lift right there. This is all the coage. Smooth it out. If you are in a time crunch, you're better off kind of doing the bottom sections of your hair in larger sections and then doing finer, smoother sections on top. So this is a really easy way to help get lift. Put the flat iron in and go straight up with it. And still bend it down so it curls under. But notice it's coming kind of straight out of my scalp. The flat iron I'm using is a GHD 1-inch. It heats up in 30 seconds, which I love. And it also has a sleep function. So I believe if it's left sitting for about 30 minutes, could be 45, it'll go to sleep. So the heat will die down and it'll still be on, but it won't be hot. So if you ever worry about your house burning down, get a GHD. Okay, so we're back to the front again. And all the way up my hair, we're going to be doing these sections in toward the face. Okay, so go through and check everything before you move on too much. Make sure you got everything smooth. It looks good to me. And then we'll do this last section, which I'm going to end up dividing in 2. So, sort of the section right close to my part, which is on this side of my head. I'm going to keep that separate. And these jaw clips are the best because you can kind of lift them off of your scalp so they won't leave a crease. And we'll just keep going. So it's a little bit monotonous, but the time you take to go through and slowly smooth out each section will be much more appreciated in the end. If you want a little bit more bend at your ends, you can just twist your wrist a little bit right when you're finishing. Let's come around to the back. So I'll show you this section from the front now. I'm going to put your flat iron in at your root and just lift straight up. Do a little bend once you get to your ends, but flat iron kind of went like that and then bent over. So you get a lot of lift right off your scalp there. This is my obnoxious part of my hair, this side, which if you've seen my videos before, you've heard me talk about this resistant area. So it is not unusual for me to have to go over and flat iron it a few times and make sure it's bending under and getting smooth and all that. So if you have a certain part of your hair that just will not cooperate, you're not alone. Okay, so this section is getting a little large. I'm going to divide that in half. And go toward the face. So all around the top of my head is when I put the flat iron in and go straight up with it, and then bend it over. Okay, so now we're at the part section. I'm going to do one kind of big section back here. Same deal as before. Put it in at the root, and then lift it straight up, bending the ends under just a tad. And then I comb that straight back, so that'll kind of fall where it's going to fall. And then we'll divide this in half, since that's where my part is. And then we'll do the last section over here. So this is maybe less time consuming than curling your hair. For me, the curly hair works better in the humidity, because if it falls a little bit, it still doesn't look like my hair's melted. It just looks like I did looser curls that day. Straight hair for me goes completely limp in any humidity, which if you live in North Carolina too, you know we have plenty of that to go around. Okay, so here I am all straight. I keep trying to kind of push these toward my face so they'll stay under there. Let me check the back and show you guys the back. So here's where we're at. It's kind of, due to my layers, it kind of flips a little bit, which I'm good with. I don't want it to be perfectly pinned straight. So the way I would finish from here is to tease a little bit. So I'm going to start right at the crown and back comb. And I usually like to go kind of about to here when I do my hair straight. And we'll do a little bit on the sides. If you want to know how to style your bangs, see my How to Style Your Bangs with the Flat Iron video. I went ahead and knocked that out before I got this one started because, like I mentioned in the other one, there are days where my bangs just don't want to cooperate, and I didn't feel like messing with them today. So after you back comb, kind of go through with your fingers and smooth it out a little bit. If you're not able to kind of piece through it with your fingers, grab a comb and you can kind of just comb over the very top section. I'll show you just like this, in little strokes, just to get rid of that back combing look. Okay, so here we are, flat iron straight. I'd finish with a little bit of Kenra, and I normally like to pinch right at my crown and spray a little bit up in there so you get a lot of lift at the crown. And then a little bit on the sides. As my hair's getting longer, I don't like to overdo the hairspray too much because it will flip on my shoulders, and I don't want it to flip as one unit with too much hairspray. And then an easy way to get a little bit of movement in the back, make sure I'm all smooth back there, just kind of hang your head back and do a little bit of spray, shake your head a little bit, which is going to allow the layers to move where they're going to go, but still be sprayed so they won't fall. So here is flat iron straight. Take it section by section, smaller sections probably than you would naturally want to take, and go ahead and slowly and steady smooth through it so you don't have to keep going over section by section and all of that. So as always, please comment with any questions or advice or anything like that that you need from me, and I really hope that the flat iron look works for you.